Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, carefully putting down my coffee. Welcome to day 24 of our Supersize You annual challenge. This year we're doing one thing every day to be a better supersized version of ourselves. Anybody else? Compare yourselves to others? No, we're going to let that go once and for all. Maybe not once and for all this year. We're going to let that go as much as humanly possible for us, given the situation and where we're at in our life. So today we're talking about, and we're using the word supersize to create an acronym for the 9 life framework areas that I talk about and share, like almost sickeningly all the time. Whenever it comes up at least 10 times a day in my conversations. But it's a 9-part life framework that I came up with. Actually, it was a 7-part life framework that I learned from Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn back in I think it was the late 70s, early 1980s. Could have been, I think it was 1980 actually, which is really mind-blowing, right? That's so long ago. But I learned about it and I started to use it to map out and make some sense of my life. And it's a good thing I did, because I ran into like a 3-year block where I had mega health challenges. I'm not going to go into those today, but needless to say, my life was a very dark room all the time, literally physically a dark room. 90% of the time. And so those were dark days for me, literally. So that's where that came from. In case you think I script my talks every day, this is an example of my notebook for today's talk. It's got intellectual and then the word mental on it, as well as Supersize You day 24 and Supersize Your Business day 24, because this year is the first time I've done an annual challenge and actually I've done little shorter challenges, but an annual challenge for my Supersize Your Business community. And it is now a community on the school platform. We are just forming right now, and so I'm still taking founding members, which means it's free. And whatever you join school at, whatever price you join a community at, as long as you don't leave that community, you maintain your free status, your founder status, which is absolutely freaking amazing. I love the platform. I'm having so much fun learning and growing and trying to figure out how to do it. It's like jumping into any new thing. But some of the things that are helping me the most is I can streamline. I already decided I'm going to add the Supersize You annual challenge to that community, as well as Supersize Your Business. And so it's going to be the same topics every day, but a slightly different focus in terms of what is most important to you and a higher priority right now. So came up with this little supersize, since it's 9 letters, 9-part life framework match. And some days like today are not perfect, but if I use the word intellectual, that refers to mental, so it is now the category for our mental health and well-being. Now, how does our mental health and well-being impact whether we're at the biggest possible version of ourselves or not? Well, I wrote down a couple of things in terms of how it impacts us on a personal level. It enhances our emotional intelligence. It boosts our productivity and creativity. When we're feeling great mentally and intellectually, we are more productive. We know what action to take, and then we take that action. We don't procrastinate and do all the things that we as human beings like to do, and I am so guilty of that, just like every other human being on the planet. When I'm stretching my comfort zone, or I'm at the edge of my comfort zone, all kinds of junk will start throwing itself at me, and I'll pay attention to that instead of the thing that I really need and want to do to move my life in the direction I want it to go. It promotes resilience. Having a strong mental health and well-being, having a positive mindset, an open mindset, a flexible point of view or perspective, all of those things help us whenever we face a challenge or a setback or an obstacle or a roadblock or a problem. I don't like to use the word problem that much, because if I'm focusing on the problem, I'm not looking for or creatively finding solutions. So we have a saying in my little nuclear family: we are a problem-solving family. Learned it from a Spirited Child book, and I love it, because if we're a problem-solving family, that means nothing is going to stop us, nothing's going to get in our way. So I would say adopt a problem-solving philosophy, meaning I'm focusing on the solutions, not on the problems themselves. Because guess what? When we focus on the problems, we get more of them. Maybe it comes in a different color, shape, size, or experience, but it'll just keep coming until we deal with it. That's why I love this area of the life framework so much. It is actually, if I couldn't work on any other area of the life framework, and I mentioned I had some health challenges. During that period of time, the only time I spent besides going to doctors was on personal development things. And that is literally what got me out of that situation. Was I figured out that all of the experts were not going to fix me because they had no clue what they were doing, literally no clue. I mean, they were guessing and giving me prescriptions that interacted with each other. It just plain sucked. And I was laying in a dark room with a migraine one day, and I had the realization that it's up to me. I am the one that knows my body best. I'm going to have to figure this out if I don't want to spend, if I want to be here in 5 years, and if I don't want to spend my 20s in a dark room all by myself, which I totally didn't want to. That was before social media, because I probably would have had a lot more FOMO, and I would have figured that out much sooner had there been social media. Now, I'm not even going to get down that track. So, strengthens our sense of purpose. I don't know about you, but I spent decades literally looking for what's my purpose. Why don't I have this unique and special gift or talent that I was born with, and I just know what I'm here to do on the planet. It wasn't until my sudden cardiac arrest and after that that I realized and figured out my purpose is just to be the best possible version of myself and contribute to the world in a positive way to the best of my ability. And that's frankly all of our purposes, is to be the best possible human that we can be. If you don't know what your purpose is, adopt that and start behaving that way, and then maybe something else will come into your view, and you'll say, oh my gosh, this is my purpose. This is the thing I'm supposed to champion during this lifetime. Anyway, it fosters compassion and kindness, which, come on, don't we need a lot more of that these days? I don't watch the news, haven't watched the news since the 1980s when I did a really cool training, but I do, like, because social media is so prevalent now, get bits and pieces and snippets of stuff, and I think it is sad and almost pathetic the way certain people are behaving in our country right now. People that are siding with evil, people that are believing that anybody that doesn't agree with them deserves terrible things to happen to them. When did that become okay to say out loud? I mean, if I ever think something bad, I beat myself up about it, but I certainly don't say it out loud. All right, I digress. So what are we doing today? Our challenge today is to ask ourselves, with respect to my intellectual health and well-being, my mental health and well-being, what and how does that impact my being the supersized version of myself? Is it, and sometimes it'll be a positive way, sometimes it'll be a negative way. But we want to just write down a couple of things. And then I would recommend that after you write down the impact, ask yourself, is this for me and moving me in the direction I want my life to go, or not for me, moving me away from what it is that I want in my life? And then some of my favorite practices for this, I'm just going to share a few, are practicing gratitude. I practice gratitude every morning, every night, during the day, because it's such a powerful thing to do, because it raises our vibration, which increases our energy, and I'm not going to go into all that today. Mindfulness is another way, being present, being in the present moment. I will admit, I spent probably the first 4 to 5 decades of my life not living in the present moment. What a waste of time. What a waste of life and experiences. Prioritize rest and sleep, which I noticed I have not been doing lately. Couldn't tell by the bags under my eyes. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate what's going well in your life, because you want to create more of that. I don't like this one. I say set big, hairy, audacious goals. I wrote down achievable, but if we only set little achievable goals, we're not stretching our comfort zone, and we're certainly not becoming the supersized version of ourselves. And then finally, limit negative influences like social media, the news, negative people, people that have negative energy vampires, whatever you want to call them. Limit their impact on you, because guess what? They do impact you. Especially the more energy sensitive you are, the more they impact you. All right, that's all I've got today. How mental, intellectual health and well-being impacts your ability to supersize you. Share one thing in the comments below from doing this exercise. I will do the same. Go out, make it an awesome day, and know I'll be with you tomorrow. Have a great day.